Hello, everyone. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I will just thank Shay for the music. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Q&A session for the Newton Fundamentals program. It's really lovely to have you here with us today. I am Kelechi, the program manager at Newton Venture Program. I am joined by my colleague, Shayan, who's currently off video as he's taking care of his daughter who is sick, but he's secretly giving you a wave. And I'm sure Shayan can also drop a wave in the chat as well. Over the next 45 minutes, we'll be giving you a clear picture of what the fundamentals program is, who it's for, what you can expect to get out of it, and how to apply. We'll also hear from one of our fundamentals alum, Alejandro, who will share his experience of the program. We'll, at the end of it, leave some time for questions. So as we go, feel free to pop questions in the chat and we'll gather them for the Q&A. Okay, so sorry about that. Okay, so very quickly, for the next 45 minutes, I'll share a introduction to the Newton Venture program, like I mentioned, and where fundamentals sit in our portfolio. Then I'll walk you through the fundamentals program itself, including how it runs, what the curriculum looks like, and who typically joins in. After that, we'll have Alejandro join us to reflect, or speak to us rather, to reflect on his experience and what he took away from the fundamentals program. We will then open the floor for your questions for around 10 minutes. And finally, we will close with a recap of the key dates and how to apply. Hi, Alejandro. If you could, I like your background. And if you're happy to just give us a quick wave so everyone knows you are here on the screen. All right. Thank you very much. So let's begin. At Newton, our mission is to create a thriving, inclusive, and innovative venture ecosystem. Launched in 2020, Newton is a joint venture between Phoenix Court and London Business School with founding partner HSBC Innovation Banking. We're a training and development program, and we use a blend of faculty and practitioner teaching. That's one of the unique things about Newton. We currently have 3 live offerings. One is our fundamentals program, which we're going to talk about more in depth today. And it's for those looking to break into venture capital, for those who are early in their venture capital career, potentially working in a non-VC role. And it's also perhaps for someone curious about VC who would want to benefit from having a better understanding of the key concepts. Secondly, we have the fellowship program, and it's for practicing professionals, mid-career professionals, and venture capital who want to get to the next level in their leadership journey. Our third life offering is the VC Bootcamp, which serves as a bridge between the fundamentals and the fellowship for those at an intermediate stage of their learning. And finally, we have the Newton Foundations, our free online course for individuals who are simply curious about, VC and want to learn just a bit more to know what it's about. But today, our focus is on the fundamentals program. So a quick intro into the fundamentals program. Like I said earlier, I'm Kelechi, and interestingly, I am an alumni myself. I was a part of the fundamentals program, the 9th cohort, that's NVP11. And I'm just going to be walking you through a bit around the fundamentals program itself. To start with, Fundamentals program is an 8-week live online course designed to demystify venture capital. It's a good chance to learn directly from VC practitioners and business school faculties. It's also a space to apply concepts through practical exercises and peer collaboration. And interestingly, you'd also be joined by a community of 800 plus learners representing about 85 nationalities across 10 cohorts. We meet once a week on Wednesday evenings for our live sessions for around 2 hours and 15 minutes. And we're very used to people joining us from all over the world in different time zones. One of the things that we love about the fundamentals program is the diversity of people who join in. Now, we have aspiring investors who want to understand what makes a great deal and how investors think. We have startup and scale-up operators who want to see their work through the investor's lens. We also have career switchers looking to bring their skills from other industries into venture. And we have curious learners who have been circling around VC and now want to have or get a structured way to understand it. So wherever you are, fundamentals of structure to help you understand the complete VC journey. Our curriculum is organized around the life cycle of a venture deal. We think of it as, seeing the deal, picking the deal, winning the deal, supporting the deal, and exiting the deal. Each week focuses on a different part of this journey. Some of the modules you will see in the program include a venture ecosystem module where you'd explore how the venture capital world is organized, how funds are structured rather, and how the VC business model works. We have the deal sorting and evaluation model where you look at how investors find opportunities, how they use structured frameworks to evaluate these opportunities. We'd also have the market mapping module where you might, for example, map a space like Gen AI to understand the different players and where promising opportunities are. We have also the negotiations module where you explore negotiations dilemmas and how investors and founders to balance value capture and value creation in conversations. And I'll say finally, you have an exit module where you explore different exit routes and how investors think about exit pathways when making investments. In terms of how the learning happens, fundamentals is very applied and very interactive. You get to attend weekly live sessions on Wednesdays, as I mentioned this earlier, from 6 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. UK time, and this is led by faculty and VC practitioners. You'd also work on applied learning tasks, both individually and in groups. You take part in activities such as live negotiations exercise and a group investment memo project based on real companies. You'd have access to Discord, which is our learning and community hub, where you'd find readings, resources, and the space to connect with your cohort and even other members of the Newton community generally. We also use smaller home groups within the cohort. So you have a close circle of peers you can learn from and lean on as you go through the program. So you're never alone at any phase of the program. From a practical perspective, we have designed fundamentals so that it is manageable alongside full-time work or other commitments. The core commitment is the weekly live session with the layers of readings and exercises around it. I'm almost done, I promise you. In terms of what you gain, we think about the fundamentals in 3 pillars. The first one is the learn, and with learn, you would, in the course of the program, build a strong foundation in how venture capital works, from fund structures to deal evaluation and to portfolio support. With the second pillar on network, you would connect with a global cohort of your peers, mentors, alumni, many of whom stay in touch long after the program ends. And that is one unique thing about the Newton community. And finally, with access, the third pillar, which is access, you will gain access to opportunities, resources, and events across the Newton community, including a careers hub and exposure to roles in and around VC. Everyone starts the fundamentals program from a different place, and everyone finishes in a different place depending on their goals. Some go on to work at funds, some get promoted, some start raising their own funds, and some even move into roles that sit around the venture ecosystem. Now, I hope that with all the discussion and information I've had to share, it gives you like a useful sense of how the fundamentals program works. I will now introduce Alejandro, one of our fundamentals alum, to share his experience on the program with us. Hi, Alejandro.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us, and I'm excited to have this conversation with you today. So first off, I would ask that you introduce yourself.
Sure. Well, probably you would not be able to recognize my background, but that's from my home country, Costa Rica. It's actually a hydroelectric plant that I was explaining a little bit about that. That's how we do things in Costa Rica, and that is basically where my passion comes from. Basically, as you can see also in my shirt and a lot of pictures, I just realized I really love green, but I also like startups and innovation, and combining these is where my passion for venture capital comes in. That capacity to drive changes towards in a specific direction, something that you are experiencing or something that you're really passionate about. That's who I am. I started this journey as an entrepreneur back home in Costa Rica. Now I am based in the Netherlands. In this transition between being an entrepreneur and going to the venture capital side, I was right in the middle as a consultant and helping accelerator programs as well. And that's where I came up into the Newton program, first foundations, then fundamentals, and now the fellowship. And honestly, it has helped me transition in a right way with clarity towards the areas that I want to keep learning about and towards the type of professional that I want to be in this industry. So that's me on a nutshell. And where I am right now is directing starting a small fund to invest in Central American and Latin American clean tech startups.
That's interesting. Thank you very much for your response. So since you've already given like some background as to what led to you, I would say what led to you being a part of Newton, what that journey has looked like. My question to you will be, what's that thing about the Newton Fundamentals program, if you could think back when you applied, that made you want to be a part of the program? What was like your main motivation for joining in?
Well, honestly, the first time that I came across the Newton program was because of a colleague that I knew, and she was telling me about the opportunities of getting to know different people from um, different sides of the community, the network diversity, and also the opportunity to understand what type of professional I wanted to be in the industry, and if I even wanted to be in venture capital, because I mean there are so many different options. The things that you hear about venture capital is not always positive, and then I wanted to know really what it was about and if I could, with my own values, with my own hypothesis of what I wanted to create in the world, if it was possible. And honestly, after researching many other programs, this was the right fit for me in order to discover those type of points.
That's really good. Thank you for your response. So my next question to you, following like what it was like when you started, is what was your favorite element or moment in the program? What's one thing or things, depending on how many they are, that stood out for you during the program or have stayed with you afterwards?
Well, when I came into the program, there was something. First, to be completely honest, I got into the program already knowing a lot about venture capital because that's who I am, and many people are in this industry are like that, very eager to learn. Now you have ChatGPT, we have all of these sorts of tools that can teach us anything in the era of information. So coming into the program, I realized that, of course, I had more street type of experience, let's say, as an entrepreneur, raising capital, dealing with investors, navigating different elements of venture capital from different continents. And when I came into this program, there was a lot of people that were coming from different industries, academia, or governments or other areas. So at the beginning, it felt like it was low, it was going slower than what I'd imagined. And I think by week 2, 3, I started to realize why was that and understanding something else that probably sometimes I forget. When you are an entrepreneur and you're starting solo, you think that everything is about you, everything is about how fast you move. But then you realize that also this industry is about people and it's about understanding that you're not going to be able to understand everything on the industry. You're not going to be an expert of everything. So it was all about the program that, and what caught my attention on those first 3 weeks. It was that it was all about moving all at the same pace and not leaving anybody behind. And when the time came, I was able to provide this type of support and knowledge to other people on the cohort that didn't have it. But there were other people also that were bringing more technical experience, especially on areas like clean tech or biotech, that are very, very specific. And that is a background that I don't have. And so that complementary set of skills, I think, is what separates the whole Newton experience. And then there was a session that I really loved from Erica, I always forget her last
Investment
name, but
values.
yeah, exactly. And well, we were discussing, yeah, the values, and then also how the venture industry should be, um, yeah, how it should be, not how it is. And it was very interesting because then you combine the point of the team, the diversity, and also the reason why we are all into this type of program, where we are giving, we're being given opportunities that other people don't have, and we kind of want to create that in the industry to have a more represented or representative industry in venture capital, so that it can also get more opportunities to many other entrepreneurs that are not being represented the right way. So I think that all combines kind of the values of Newton. And for me, that also creates a ripple effect on the portfolio construction, um, diversifying assets, and understanding and having access to many other founders and many other ecosystems that you would usually not have with a narrow mindset, and with a traditional view, as many other investors are having trouble right now. This is where these type of programs have a lot of sense, and it goes beyond just a personal experience. It's, I think, a combined set of experiences as a cohort that might create almost like a mastermind group that you can rely on moving forward, if you decide to move forward on the VC industry. But also, there are people that decided to move forward as entrepreneurs, and now I think they're not going to have any trouble raising capital in the future either.
Yes, that's really good. I like what you mentioned about like the mastermind group, just like helps to keep you accountable and keep you going, depending on what you want to get out of it. So thank you very much. Um, my next question, just hearing everything that you've said so far, is, still on the fundamentals program. What changed for you because of the Newton fundamentals, or because of Newton fundamentals program, or because you went through that? How did you grow through that experience?
I think I can put it in three words. One was, of course, knowledge. I was able to deepen my knowledge. The confidence, I was able to actually be confident that I know enough, and that I really am on the same level as many others, because of course there is always this kind of imposter syndrome when coming into a new area, something that you don't know. You don't know whether you really know or not. You don't know what others are doing. And so it levels up that game. Of course, the combination of knowledge and confidence is key. But then the third one was, I think, direction. I realized I was coming uh, again on a transition, kind of like the roles that you were describing before. Either you're an operator, an potential investor, or an entrepreneur, and depending on what you want to do, I think everybody's gonna kind of like on a transition, and probably many people listening here as well. And sometimes, well, you don't know what that transition is leading to. You know, it's a transition, but you don't know in what direction, or you don't know what direction you feel comfortable with. So that
Mhm.
definitely was what I got from this fundamentals program. So again, direction, confidence, and knowledge, and that allowed me to choose the right next step for me.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Um, if you have any questions, please feel free to add them in the chat, and we'll definitely get to them. So my next question to you, Alejandro, will be, how would you encourage someone to get the best or the greatest benefits from the fundamentals program?
This is usually it depends on who I say this to. Some people take it the wrong way, but it's almost like stuck everybody on the alumni network and on the program. Get to know everybody as good as you know yourself. Almost try to meet everybody, because coming into this program, that's one of the questions I was asking Cheyenne, and I was asking the rest of the team. How can I take the fullest advantage of this? And that was the one thing that, beyond the knowledge, beyond the workshops and all of that, that was amazing. Getting to know all of the people, and having them a WhatsApp away, of a question is key, and is, I think, what separates somebody that is trying to break into the industry and somebody that is already within this area. That is the type of access that separates, I think, a want to be type of venture capital from an actual venture capitalist that is already cracking in and is already understanding many other opportunities out there, because it's all about collaboration. It's all about all about the shared knowledge, and something that is really important in venture capital, although um, the type of deals that are done, the best deals are non-consensus type of deals. The only non-consensus thing here is that you cannot do the whole venture capital industry on your own. Basically, you need all types of investors and all types of people, and that at the end is going to create a more valuable ecosystem. And that's something that you can see on the best and fastest growing ecosystems. That diversity and that access to people and that collaboration within different funds and different organizations is what it is key. And this is where it starts, I think. We building the fundamental, let's say, of the relationships that you're going to have eventually in the industry.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Those are all the questions I have, but I have like I'll say bonus question. Just wanted to get your thoughts, right? From your vantage point, what do you think is the one top skill needed to succeed in venture capital, aside community or aside relationship?
So is that a question for me or is open for the
Yes, yes.
room?
Oh, it's for
Yeah.
you.
Okay. The one skill, I think everybody asks that question to themselves. And if you asked me that 6 months ago, I probably would have said something else.
What would
I
it
think
have
six
been?
months ago, I thought that it was just about the, being able to fundraise, because as a VC, you're also fundraising from other LPs, and if you don't have money, you cannot invest and you cannot raise another fund. And it is a key skill, and trust me, it's as difficult as fundraising for a startup, if not more difficult. But right now, there is also a lot of capital. So having the capacity to convince founders to accept your money and to accept your deals, and to understand that is also very key. And I think for me now, seeing it from this perspective, is that LPs and partners around the industry are going to trust your capacity to convince more founders and to find the right founders to build the best companies. So it's still, I think, seeing it from the other side, if you're not able to convince the right founders and find the right people and create that trust, then I don't think everything else that has to happen in the industry is going to flow.
Okay, so can we cap it as communication and like really, even though I do want to talk about relationship, but relationship building and then communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All
But
right.
it was a little bit young communication, because I've seen, there are stereotypes of great funds, for example, a Silicon Valley fund, and they have all of this name, and they say that they are founder friendly and that they do this and they do that. And then when you put it on the table and you ask the founders, they don't trust them, or they feel like afraid of getting into a conversation with these VCs. And so that's what I mean, is also uh, being being empathetic with the people that you're dealing with, right?
That's a good one. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Alejandro. Those were amazing responses, and insightful responses to my questions. Thank you so much for being here with us and for responding. I am not going to turn over to the audience. The floor is open. Please raise your virtual hand to let us know if you have a question. Alternative, you can put it in the chat or message a member of the Newton team directly, and we'll be able to answer your questions. Does anyone does anyone have a question? Yes, Jacob, thank you. Please go ahead.
Hey guys, thanks very much for that. It was really interesting and great to hear about your personal experiences, Alejandro. I was wondering, like, Kelechi, from your side, like Alejandro talked about the importance of meeting people and networking, and so it's mostly online. You said there was a platform and then there's some in-person stuff. I was wondering if you could talk about, like, how does the program help facilitate that? What though? Can you explain a bit more, maybe like the online platform and how the in-person stuff works? And Alejandro, maybe like what did you find was facilitated usefully for you? And then equally, where did you kind of feel you had to, like, you benefited from doing other things? Were you keeping in touch after, for example, that kind of thing?
Alejandro, would you want to answer that first so you can speak from your experience and I'll speak from the meeting side?
Yeah, sure. Probably you're gonna talk more about the follow-up and the network and all of that. But on my personal experience, I think that it's a great question, Jacob, because it was one of the questions I had as well at the beginning. And then I realized something like, well, I think it was Shayan who told me, well, you can get out of this whatever you want out of this, as much as you put in. And so the question would be, how much do you want to interact with the rest of the people? In my cohort, especially, there were people that were really busy, that they were not able to communicate constantly, and those were the ones that they didn't get the most out of the program. While with others, we just started, I think, week 2, 3, with a WhatsApp group just to start reviewing an anti portfolio, let's say. And it was just an agri-tech focus. And so we started communicating, we started talking and meeting every week and creating kind of this mastermind group of deals and access and understanding a little bit more of what we wanted. We realized that we had a lot of connections in common, and then the conversation kept leading towards something else. So it was a great opportunity there, but it's just, again, you already have the access. It's about the practice, and this is the same that happens in the industry. I mean, you have a global community of a lot of people within Newton and outside Newton, but it's up to you to be able to talk with them. And I think what the program provides is that access already, because you are already within a specific cohort, within a specific guide, and with a specific goals on the program. So you already have the excuse to start talking with these people and creating these relationships and practicing what it would be like in the real world.
Thank you, Alejandro, for your response. And Jacob, just to follow on that. I was also a part of the program 09, and in my case at the time, I was based in London, and what we did, I think following with what Alejandro said, Shayan also said to us, what you give in is what you get out of it. We had like a London meetup, I think twice, during my program, and it was just a couple of us coming together to say, let's meet, let's hang out, let's have a conversation, and we did that, right? And in 10, which just concluded like 2 days ago, a couple of the cohorts also sort of like met together in London as well. And what we did was to also support that. We have something during the program which we call coffee chats, and people, it's an opt-in get to meet different members. So you're getting to meet different members of the cohort. And what we've seen is at some point, some people have needed to do it virtually and some have had to do it in person as well. So again, it's just depending on, what your schedule is like and what you're looking to do. The program itself is global. So that means that everyone across the world gets to be a part of it. And situations where people are in the same city rather, they get to organize like a meetup to, and, make the most of their in-person, like an in-person collaboration and connection. I hope that's answered your question.
Nice one. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? I can go through somewhat, probably 1 or 2 questions that we've had frequently asked, and just in case someone is thinking about it, this would just be the answer for you. So one of the questions I really had is, how do I know which course is the right one for me? And I say that because we have like 3 different offerings. I mentioned that earlier, the fundamentals, the fellowship, and the VC bootcamp. So for the fundamentals, is the fundamentals of the course if you're looking to break into VC or you're early, in VC, your VC career, or you're working in a non-VC role and you think you benefit from having like a greater understanding of the key concepts. It's for 8 weeks and it's virtual, happens every Wednesday evening, UK time. The fellowship is for practicing investors who want to move to the next level in their careers. And it's hosted over like in a 9-month window with having in-person components 3 times, or say 9 days rather, within the 9-month window. So that's in person in London. And then we have the VC bootcamp, which is for those at the intermediate stage. If you're wondering what the time commitment is for the fundamentals program, the weekly time commitment is estimated to be 5 hours, and that's inclusive of the live sessions we have on Wednesdays, but also the reading the materials, having conversations, opting in for coffee chats if you want, and the applied learning exercises as well. So you're definitely able to manage that alongside your workload commitment and other commitments as well. And I would say finally, if you're wondering how to stand out in your application, probably you're yet to you put in your application, you're like, how do I actually stand out in my application? Our response to you would be, be yourself, be authentic, tell us your story as it is, rather than trying to guess what we want to hear. There is no specific profile we're looking for, and we cannot tell, based on your application, and that's because of the system that we've put in place with respect to marketing. We cannot tell where you work or where you went to university. So the main thing we're interested in is your drive, your grit, your commitment to learning about the venture capital space, and your alignment with our mission in terms of making venture capital a more equitable space to be. I hope that sort of like gives a sense generally of what the fundamentals program is, the kind of questions we've got. And if for any reason you think about the question as we try to wrap up, please feel free to put them in the chat or just raise your virtual hand. I'll leave about 3 seconds just in case. Okay, so finally, I'm going to share one other question that we typically get, and it's, how is Newton different from other programs? And I think Alejandro talked about this somewhat when he was answering a question, what makes Newton unique? What makes us unique? And the first thing is we bring together the best of academia and practitioner insights in our programs, and you get that, with every module, every course content. 2, our focus is on bringing an ecosystem together. So this includes investors, venture lawyers, finance folks, tech transfer officers, entrepreneurs, PhD holders, and so it's like a whole ecosystem of different people, including policy analysts as well. And then we're a live stage provider, and what that means is we meet you where you are, right? At any stage you are and anywhere you're looking to grow to, we get to meet you there. I see a question in the chat. Thanks for asking, Justina. So what are the fees for the program? And I'm going to be sharing that in a bit. So the fundamentals program costs £2,030 plus, and that's excluding VAT, but plus VAT, it's £2,436. And you only get to pay VAT if you are paying from the UK. If UK is your home country, you get to pay VAT. Otherwise, the fee is £2,030. I hope that answers it. Yeah, okay. You're welcome. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, okay. You can see my screen. Thank you very much, everyone, for the questions, for being here, and for engaging as well. We are close to the end of our allocated time for today, so just go into the next steps for you so you know what your key takeaway is from this session. So please remember that our application is hosted on Applied, so we use that to remove bias from the process. Applied is an application platform. And the deadline for application is Friday, 21st of November for round 1 at 5 p.m. UK time. And like we say in our application process, this is like round 1 is the best chance of selection. So please send in your application. And in the event that you're not able to, for some reason, we have a round 2, and the deadline for round 2, the application of round 2 closes on Monday, the 15th of December. We have a scholarship process also ongoing alongside the application as well, and the deadline for that is on the same days as the application processes when they close as well, although it's a separate application process. So what that means is you put in an application for the program separately, and you put in an application for scholarship separately as well. And there will be a link in the chat for you. We also have our FAQ page and a number of blog posts covering everything on how to approach the application process, to some spotlights on our previous participants on how to also break into the venture capital ecosystem. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this session and for joining us today. From the Newton team and myself, we wish you all the best on the application, and we hope to see some of you join us in February of 2026.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.